Hello, this is Scott with Wet Edge, and welcome to our Primera Stone product video. Now in this video we'll be talking about some of the benefits and challenges of our Primera Stone product, and we'll also be going over what you can reasonably expect if you select or choose to go with our Primera Stone. So why would you possibly consider going with a Primera Stone? Well, before I get into what Primera Stone is, I want to briefly discuss why we came up with it in the first place. We developed Primera Stone for those of you who like the look of the pebble, but you just don't like the feel of it. You know, for one reason or another, you just believe that a pebble finish is rough. Now, personally, I love the texture of pebble. I love how I think it massages my feet. But at Wet Edge, we're not here to force you one way or another. You know, we're all about options and helping you find the finish that's right for you. So the great thing about a Primera Stone finish is that it gives you the look of pebble, but it's polished down to a plaster feel. And some people find the texture of pebble so objectionable, they think about going with all tile. And it's still not going to be as smooth as a Primera Stone, not even a glass finish. Primera Stone truly is the smoothest finish available on the market. But it gives you that wonderful look of the pebble. So moms, if you never want to snag your bathing suits again, or you're worried about your children's tender feet, this could be the finish for you. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what Primera Stone actually is. Now, some in the past have mistakenly thought that our Primera Stone is our pearl or our satin matrix that's simply just been ground down, but that's not the case. The base aggregate in Primera Stone is actually geologically an aggregate that's between marble and quartz. So it's harder than marble, yet softer than quartz, so that which enables our applicator to go in and cut that aggregate and grind it down and make it smooth. But it's a large aggregate, so we get that pebble look, but the plaster feel. And when it's installed correctly, it looks like just a beautiful granite countertop in your pool. Now, when we talk about benefits and challenges, typically what I've done in other videos is benefits here, challenges or considerations here. But for Primera Stone, I'm going to combine them because it really matters on what you're comparing Primera Stone to. So for example, the beauty of a pebble finish, because the way it's installed, you have more pebble at the surface, so you tend to have less cosmetic issues. So when it comes to that, I cannot put a Primera Stone on the same level as a pebble because we do in fact have more cement at the surface. But I can say that it will perform better as far as it pertains to hiding the modeling, the swirling, and the streaking. It will do better than plaster or quartz. So also as exposure. The beauty about a pebble finish is when it's installed correctly, the exposure tends to be more uniform. But with a Primera Stone, because we have more cement at the surface, you may have a little more marbling or swirling or streaking compared to a pebble, but it will do better than plaster or quartz. So at the end of the day, that really just comes down to how objectionable is the texture of pebble. And if that's your deal breaker, if you just do not want to deal with it, you know you will have an option that'll last just as long as pebble. It may not necessarily perform in those areas as well as pebble, but it will perform better than all the other finishes. Now, this is a really cool benefit that Primera Stone alone provides, even over a pebble finish. And this is going to kind of also pertain to cost of ownership. Now, we've been talking about what you compare Primera Stone to pebble or to plaster and quartz. Now, compared to plaster or quartz, the great thing about a Primera Stone finish, as compared to plaster and quartz, as those finish ages, they get beat up, overexposed by the water. With the plaster and the quartz, you're sort of you either deal with it or you're ripping it out and you're putting a new finish in. But Primera Stone affords you the ability to actually drain the pool, acid wash it, and then repolish it, and you restore it. So instead of flipping the bill for a replaster of those other two finishes, at a fraction of the cost, you can restore a Primera Stone finish and then continue down the line. In fact, because of that capability, I can argue that a Primera Stone finish will actually last longer than a pebble finish because you can repolish Primera Stone over and over and over again and just extend the life of it. and always at a fraction of the cost of a replaster. And that's something you can't do with Pebble. So I just think that's just a really cool benefit. And another cool benefit as it pertains to maintenance. This is a common scenario in the pool industry. We have to deal with staining, particularly scale. And with most finishes, particularly like a quartz or a plaster finish, the only way you can really get rid of a scale buildup or a scale stain is to bombard the finish with acid, whether you put the pool into an acid bath or you drain it and you do an acid wash. Now that may take care of the stain, but that interaction, or once you introduce acid onto the surface, it's going to change the texture. The great thing about a Primera stone finish is you can repair the damage done by the acid wash. So you can do an acid wash, get rid of the stain or the scaling, but then you can restore the texture by repolishing. And the cool thing about Primera stone even further is the more you polish it, the more impervious you make it. Not impenetrable, but impervious. So if a stain does land on it, like if a leaf falls on it and it breaks down and leaves a residue, you can polish it off. And that's just so cool. And that's just something you can't do with the other finishes. So you can further yet extend the life of the finish. You can repair the damage. Now, obviously, it's not cheap to repolish, but it's a heck of a lot better than living with a good looking but yet overexposed rough finish. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper than having to replaster. So you have an answer, and you can redeem so many different situations with the Primera stone over other finishes, particularly quartz and plaster. And even after all of those benefits, you still get to enjoy our admixture, which will make the cement and the surface of a Primera stone harder, denser, more resilient, and you get to have it installed by a certified and qualified wet edge applicator. Now, one last consideration, and that's just simply the cost. Now, the good news here is, as I've been doing it, depending on what you compare it to, compared to Pebble, it's right around that same ballpark, but compared to glass bead or even all tile, it's a fraction of the cost. In fact, Primera stone, as it pertains to cost of ownership, has the lowest life cycle cost of any pool finish available on the market today. So there you have it. That was our Primera stone. And folks, I got to tell you, I really like this surface. I like it a lot. It is just so beautiful. It's just so resilient. It gives you so much flexibility. So for those folks who just really want something smooth, I really think this may be the answer for you. So thank you very much. We really hope you found this helpful. I hope you feel empowered to make an informed and educated decision, because at the end of the day, we truly want you to be happy with whatever finish you choose. So thanks again for watching. From all of us at Wet Edge, your pool finish resource.